I cannot imagine this sits well with the White House.
Yeah, well, it was always very fragile. I mean, you saw John Kirby in that briefing today. The pool report counted 58 questions that he took, and most all of them were on this issue. He was very tentative in commenting on anything. As he said, this is the most sensitive time, is where we're at this spot where we're reviewing the negotiations. We're reviewing what exactly Hamas has agreed to, and then later we learned that Israel, in fact, rejected it. So I think the U.S., in some cases, is back to, and I don't want to say square one, but back to this very fragile, very complicated situation where they're, waiting for some sign that Hamas is going to accept something that is satisfied by both the Israeli and the U.S. Sides. And we're just not there yet.
Of course, Israel says it's going to stay at the table. We'll continue to pursue a ceasefire agreement. I guess it's just a question of whether or not you can close the gap between Israel and Hamas at this point. And from the U.S. perspective, we have heard officials in the administration suggest there's not really a plan B here, that it's a ceasefire deal or not, and there's no in between.
Yeah, well, not to quote a different geopolitical conflict, but we've heard from Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky talking about how you can't have a plan B in these situations. And of course, he was speaking for his own situation, but that's what it reminds me of there. Of course, the U.S. officials don't want to betray any sort of situation where they want to open up for anything else than we're laser focused on this hostage deal. We need to get the hostages out. We need to get humanitarian aid in. And they see it as an opportunity to close the deal on a ceasefire. Israel, obviously, in a different position here, has said repeatedly, and including through the weekend, that they will move forward on the Rafah operation. They want to end Hamas. And so that is their full stop negotiating tactic. And Hamas is just not seeing that as acceptable from their side, of course.
Yeah, so I guess we'll wait and see how these talks progress in the coming days. Meantime, tomorrow, President Biden will be giving an address on anti-Semitism and part of marking Holocaust Remembrance Day. He'll be speaking on Capitol Hill. How should we expect what's happening in terms of the ceasefire talks will color the remarks that he gives tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. It's not going to be an easy address to deliver with this hovering in the background, but I think what the president will probably try to do is completely isolate this, as he has tried to do, is, you take the U.S. support for Israel on the one hand, and the ironclad commitment that they say, even through today, and rumors of holding back on ammunition support and that sort of thing to Israel. Even amid all that, they want to kind of establish, yes, we are still the friend to Israel that we always have been, and particularly in issues around Holocaust remembrance, around anti-Semitism. You saw it in the readout of the leaders' call this morning that they agreed, yes, we're going to forcefully fight anti-Semitism in all its forms, hate speech writ large, which will also include the other side. But I think the message tomorrow will be laser focused on Holocaust remembrance and won't include all these other things in the background that are obviously complicating U.S. strategy.
All right, Bloomberg's Michelle Jamrisko, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to your coverage of that address tomorrow. Now we turn to the trial of former President Donald Trump, taking place in a Manhattan courtroom again today, and the judge holding the former president in contempt again, warning of the possibility of jail time over gag order violations. Here's how the former president reacted at the end of the proceedings today.
This judge has given me a gag order and said you'll go to jail if you violate it. And frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll do that sacrifice any day.
For more, let's bring in Bloomberg's Mike Dorning. So, Mike, it seems that he's almost suggesting he is willing to go to jail, and perhaps there are ways in which that could be advantageous to him politically as he and others close to him, including in Congress and elsewhere, continue to pursue this narrative that the Department of Justice, the legal system, is being weaponized against Donald Trump.
Yeah, there are ways it can be advantageous to him. I think it is a little bit risky to be running for president and as like a jailbird. But it does reinforce this narrative he has that he is someone who's willing to sacrifice himself to fight this larger fight on behalf of people in America who feel disenfranchised. He's taken the prosecutions and turned them into a validation of his critique of the United States and hit this idea that people who are discontented with America feel persecuted, and he's being persecuted on their behalf.
Speaking of discontentment, there's a lot of that going around within the Republican conference on Capitol Hill as well, in the House specifically. Donald Trump has actually come out in support of House Speaker Mike Johnson. They appeared together at Mar-a-Lago. He's had other relatively friendly words for him since, even in the face of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who also is close to the former president, pursuing this motion to vacate against him, which technically could happen at any time. She said she'd call for a vote this week. She right now is in a meeting with the House Speaker. We have yet to hear anything emergent from that meeting, but just how critical is this moment for Speaker Johnson, knowing the Democrats could be there to protect him?
It's important. As you say, he will win this vote. He will win this fight because he has the Democrats for now saying they'll back him. But it's an important test for him, because if he goes through this vote and she does challenge him and a number of Republicans break away, that would really weaken him, because the Democratic support is not a carte blanche. They might withdraw that at any time, and you can imagine if he continues to press hardcore Republican priorities, at some point they will withdraw that. So if he loses enough Republican support that he needs the Democrats, that just really weakens him. So if he can get Marjorie Taylor Greene to somehow go through this without actually triggering an ouster motion, that would help him tremendously. It would also, not coincidentally, help President Trump and other Republicans by unifying the party instead of dividing it going into an election.
Is she politically able, though, to walk away at this point after threatening this for so long? Personally,
I think it's pretty hard for her to back down. She's been threatening this continuously. And, the traditional ways that a Speaker of the House or other congressional leaders can punish someone aren't really going to matter to her. They already have taken committee seats away from her. She doesn't really, her political strength is not based on whether she can get some amendment to some bill or get an earmark in some appropriation. Her political strength is by being an avatar for the really ultra-conservative, hard-line part of the party. So she gets in those fights, it just enhances her brand.